What are you devoted to? It might be your Candy Crush game and getting your streak on, or Instagram and making sure you get your post in every single day. Others of us, it's Duolingo or JumpSpeak. We're trying to learn a new language, and it's so important that we hit our streak. Others of us, it might be our Bible app. What we're devoted to says a lot about our direction. You take a look at professional athletes and you can tell a lot about the direction they're going based off of their diet, exercise, their mental mindset. What we're devoted to matters. And we're in this series on the Daily Dose of Beyond the Cross. And where is our life going? What direction are we going in? And today we're taking a look at Acts 2:42. And it says this in this particular passage. It says, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to the breaking of bread and prayer. In the midst of Jesus coming, dying on the cross, ultimately resurrecting, you had this entire group of people reordering their life, rearranging what it is that they did on a regular daily basis. It's being transformed by what they were devoted to. You see, devotion isn't just something that we do, but it's a giving fully of ourselves to something, not out of duty, not out of obligation, but out of love and purpose and passion. That's what took place in the early part of this church, and they rearranged themselves to 4 key spiritual disciplines. The first one was being devoted to the apostles' teaching. Now, we have to remind ourselves that we can say, oh, they were devoted to the word. Well, yes, somewhat. But you see, they had the Old Testament that they could rely on, but they had to rely on the teachings of those apostles or the early disciples because they were the ones that really walked along the road with Jesus and were able to repeat what it is that Jesus was teaching them. And so they were learning what was then called the good news, the gospel of Jesus Christ, and then trying to digest it so that their lives were recentered around Jesus' words. So they were devoted to that. The second thing is that they were devoted to fellowship. And this is just a nice big churchy word for community. But more than just community, it's people that are centered around that same type of devotion, that same type of ideology that are going to encourage us in the ways that God is encouraging us to live our lives. And they knew that this was key. This was central if they were going to end up making it. The rest of the world around them and the Roman world and even amongst the Sadducees and Pharisees, they were saying down with this new type of faith. And they had to be encouraged from the inside, not just in their spirits, but by those around them to say, we got this. We know why we're believing this and we know why we're living this way. So they devoted themselves to fellowship. And then it was the breaking of bread. The breaking of bread, now for us, this might just sound like a meal, but you see, the last time that this passage or this phrase was used was Jesus in the upper room, in the breaking of bread. This is my body broken for you. This was a moment of reflection for them. Jesus' sacrifice for them. Not only was it the Passover meal of Jesus sharing that meal with them, but it was his words, I am the bread of life, and I will give you life. You see, sometimes it's a matter of being devoted to the old things to remind us of the goodness of God and who he is and how his character was true then and his character is true now and it will be in the future. And then lastly, they were devoted to prayer. They were devoted to prayer. This wasn't just something that was a sidelight, something that they kind of did at mealtime. No, this was a matter of not just being centered on God for the big moments of life, but the daily details. You see, in devotion, it's not a matter of just building up to one big day. In devotion, it's a matter of the daily details. You see, your streak in all those crazy little video games and all those sorts of things, the streak doesn't happen unless you daily do it. You see, that daily devotion, like a new language format, knows that they want you to daily be involved in that program because they know it's going to produce results. And the early church knew if they wanted their lives to matter and to take on a new direction, they needed to be daily devoted. I want to encourage you today, don't just do Christianity, but be devoted to the ways of Christ. Thanks for joining us on the Daily Dose. We would love to be able to get you more content. Put in the comments below what other topics you'd like us to cover. Thanks for joining us. Remember, like and subscribe.